I am with my arch-rival, the campus beauty. 4 years in a past life. In our past life, we pushed each other for a full 4 years in college. As a result, right after graduation, my family arranged for me to get a marriage certificate with her. On the night of our wedding, I made a 3-chapter agreement with Tang Yunren. We just needed to pretend to be close in front of our parents. The rest of our lives were completely separate. I have no feelings for Tang Yunren. I never interfered or tried to understand her social circle. Tang Yunren also never went out of her way. No matter how late I came home, even if I didn't return home at night, she would never care or ask. I always thought Tang Yunren was like me. She chose to marry me due to parental pressure as well. Until the day I suddenly fell ill and died. Tang Yunren rushed to the hospital like a madwoman. She kneeled in front of the doctor, continuously pleading desperately. Please save him. As long as you can save him. I would even trade my life for it. At that time, I stood by the bed in a state of my soul, watching this heartbroken scene. I tried to embrace her more than once. But each time, the result was the same. I kept soothing her. But she couldn't hear a word. She just kept pleading with the doctor. Until her emotions became too intense and she passed away. Until emotions were overwhelming. Tang Yunren held the black and white photo, overwhelmed with longing. She looked at the man in the black and white photo with a painful expression, gently stroking the man's face. Her eyes were filled with deep nostalgia and heartache. Tang Yunren casually picked up a bottle of medicine. She wanted to put an end to the heartache of longing. Her best friend, Jin Xiaoqiao, snatched the medicine from Tang Yunren's hands. Yunren, it's been 4 years. He is already gone. Upon hearing this, Tang Yunren's face suddenly turned pale. My breath paused slightly. Yes, he is already dead. 7,447 pounds. Tang Yunren's voice trembled slightly as she spoke. Her face was full of sorrow. As a soul, I witnessed this scene completely. Jin Xiaoqiao gave Tang Yunren a hug, patting her back. Comforting her, she said that tomorrow is his death anniversary. You should make a final closure with him. Say goodbye to the past. Tang Yunren nodded in agreement. Let's put an end to this. She has already aged. In the evening, Tang Yunren prepared a table full of dishes. Quite sumptuous. Tang Yunren added a piece of sweet and sour chicken, placing it in the bowl across from her. She began to talk to herself habitually. Zhang, these are all the dishes you liked. You don't know. Before I married you, I couldn't even cook. I worked hard to keep up in college for you. Tang Yunren showed her scar from the knife and pouted. A look of grievance appeared on her face. I'm too clumsy. My fingers have been cut several times. But when I saw you eating the dishes I made, enjoying them with big bites, I felt it was all worth it. I only realized after I died. These dishes were all made by Tang Yunren herself. I remember the first time I ate these dishes. I thought they were exceptionally delicious. I even thought they were made by a nanny hired by Tang Yunren. It wasn't just these. She would take care of me when I was drunk. The clothes I wore were all ironed by her. She would even kiss me secretly while I was asleep. She silently kept caring for me. And yet, I never knew. I still turned a blind eye to her. Tang Yunren added more boiled fish slices for me. Then she said this would be the last time she cooked for me. I will finish the memorial for you tomorrow. Then I will forget everything that belongs to you. This is also good. I let out a sigh. Although Tang Yunren is already in her early 30s, she is still charming and maturely beautiful. There's no need for her to be sad for a dead person like me. She should have her new life. The next day, Tang Yunren was wearing a wedding dress. She came to my grave. Today's Tang Yunren looked beautiful with her long hair cascading in waves. Her face was adorned with exquisite makeup. A veil flowed like an ethereal cloud. It was as if she was a celestial being. I have always known that Tang Yunren is very beautiful, but I never paid much attention to her. Even when we got married, I was only thinking about getting through the process. I didn't pay much attention to her. So beautiful, really beautiful. Tang Yunren smiled gently. She was exceptionally beautiful. I couldn't take my eyes off Tang Yunren. Look at me, am I silly? You wouldn't care whether I'm beautiful or not. Every line is filled with sorrow. Tang Yunren placed the bouquet in front of the tombstone. Looking at the two characters, Zhang, engraved on the tombstone. Memories resurface. My heart aches. Zhang, do you miss me? I really miss you. I placed my hand on Tang Yunren's head. I'm sorry. Although she can't feel it, I still can't help but do this. You wouldn't. You are E. A smile appeared on Tang Yunren's face. As Tang Yunren spoke, tears began to fall like pearls. One by one, they dropped. It's really strange to get up, but I feel like you've always been by my side. It feels like you would stroke my hair. Hearing this, my hand brushing Tang Yunren's hair paused. A face full of bitterness. I want to end it all. But I can't die. My mom wouldn't be able to handle it. If it weren't for, I wouldn't have found it hard to accept until now. I'm moving in a few days. It's far away. I won't be coming back. So before I leave, I want you to see me in my wedding dress. Just for you to see. I will never wear a wedding dress for anyone else again. Saying this, Tang Yunren waved at my gravestone. This line seems incomplete or not applicable in context. Reluctantly, she pulled her gaze away. I stood in front of the grave and didn't follow anymore. I watched as Tang Yunren left. Tang Yunren had just reached the road. Suddenly she remembered she still had the wedding ring on her finger. She wanted to return the wedding ring, to forget everything about me. Tang Yunren had just started to move her hand. Suddenly, the ring slipped from her fingers. It landed on the ground, heading towards the middle of the road. My ring. This line seems incomplete or not applicable in context. Tang Yunren chased after it. This ring is the one I placed on her finger on our wedding day. She never took it off. Just then, a heavy earth-moving truck suddenly came speeding towards her. Yunren, quickly get out of the way. I rushed over, shouting anxiously. With a loud crash, the truck slammed into her. I watched in horror as Tang Yunren was knocked away. She arced through the air. Like a withered leaf falling in autumn, she landed on the ground. I screamed with a heartbroken cry. I looked at Tang Yunren lying in a pool of blood. The red blood bloomed like plum blossoms on her pure white wedding dress. Her entire face was as pale as paper. Weakly, she turned her head towards the gravestone where I stood. A faint smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. Tears slid down her eyes, one after another. This is fine too. No, it's not fine at all. Yunren, hang in there. The ambulance is on its way. You can't die. I tried again and again to lift Tang Yunren. But in the end, it was futile. That feeling of powerlessness made me deeply hate myself. Welcome. The thing I regret the most in my life is meeting you. Falling in love with you. The more Tang Yunren spoke, the more tears she shed. If everything could start over. If I could have a do-over. I wouldn't have fallen for you. At this point in the conversation, Tang Yunren's life was nearly fading away. Until she completely lost her vitality. Lying in a pool of red blood. No. I screamed hysterically. If everything could be reset. I swear to do everything possible to make it up to you and cherish you. I won't let you suffer even the slightest injustice again. I won't let you shed a single tear again. Lost in thought, I suddenly held my head. My head throbbed as if it were about to explode. My vision went black and I collapsed on the ground. I fell right beside Tang Yunren. When I finally woke up again, I found myself in a different place. I glanced at the time above me. I had somehow returned to my college days. What I didn't know was, my wife, Tang Yunren, actually, was lying in the school infirmary at that moment. The school organized a basketball game. When I was walking past the basketball court, I happened to be hit in the head by a flying basketball. At this point in time, Tang Yunren is my college classmate. The one who hit me in the back of the head with the basketball was a student from Tang Yunren's class. When the class leader, Tang Yunren, finishes her duties, she will come to see me on behalf of the class. Thinking of this, I excitedly closed my eyes, waiting for Tang Yunren's arrival. Suddenly, footsteps finally came from outside the door. Following the sound of the footsteps, they walked to my bedside. This scent is very familiar to me. It's the body fragrance that belongs solely to Tang Yunren. It made me feel nostalgic. I couldn't help but take a deep breath in through my nose. Classmate. A melodious voice, like that of a warbler, rang out. Tang Yunren is bending down, looking at me lying on the bed. Her eyes are captivating. Her eyelashes are like two delicate butterflies. I quickly grabbed Tang Yunren's hand. In my past life, I never knew how deeply Tang Yunren felt for me. The 4 years after death, I wanted to hold her hand and pull her into my embrace at all times. But every time, it felt like she passed right through me. That feeling of helplessness. I can't even count how many times I've experienced it back and forth. Now I can finally hold her hand. It's warm and soft. Tang Yunren keeps staring at me while looking at her own hand. Her ears clearly turned red, and she pursed her lips. She tried to retract her hand several times. She attempted to pull her hand back, to regain her own comfort. But in the end, it turned out to be joy. Tang Yunren didn't say a word. I just pretended to be dead. At that moment, Tang Yunren's best friend, Jin Xiaoqiao, walked in. Beautiful colors and tones. Let go of her. Jin Xiaoqiao tugged at my hand. Tang Yunren stopped. You'll hurt him doing that. Hearing Tang Yunren say this, I was deeply moved inside. Always so kind-hearted. Yunren, did you also get hit by the basketball? Really? He's flirting with you. I can't believe you. Everyone looked at Tang Yunren in disbelief. A faint smile appeared on Tang Yunren's face. If I could do it all over again. She no longer wants anything to do with me. The deeply loving Tang Yunren would have already died in front of my grave. I said you are awake now. You're still holding on to our. Hurry up and let go. Jin Xiaoqiao yelled fiercely with her hands on her hips. You can't let go. Just now she threw the ball at me. Almost knocked me out. She has to take responsibility for me. I won't let go of Tang Yunren's hand. Intentional action. I even did it on purpose. I pulled Tang Yunren, causing her to stumble and fall onto me. Tang Yunren's face rested on my thigh. Although separated by the blanket, it still made her ears turn red instantly. My face was also very red. It was the kind of red that looked purplish. I did intentionally pull Tang Yunren just now. It was just that Tang Yunren bumped into me. It made the sweat on my forehead come out. Tang Yunren's pupils dilated. Her fingertips quickly retracted as if they were shocked. She grabbed the clothes at her side, her eyes flickering. No need to hold back. My heart couldn't help but race wildly. Unable to control, it was universal. Her place. After adjusting her emotions, she returned to the topic. I'm the class monitor of the art department, class 9. My name is Tang Yunren. Our class was just playing a basketball game against class 8. Is that a classmate from our class? And then it was your turn. I want to say sorry on behalf of my classmates. It's just a simple apology. At least you should take me out to eat, right? I can't wait now. Want to deepen my relationship with Tang Yunren. Although we are both older classmates, we have not communicated at all. So I must find a suitable reason to spend more time with her. Tang Yunren is looking at me with a suspicious gaze. This line seems incomplete or out of context and cannot be translated accurately. Tang Yunren clearly remembers well. In the previous life, she came to see me for a watch. I always acted indifferent towards her. She is the campus belle of Zhongsheng University and many people pursue her. Yet Zhang Che seems to have little interest in her. This piqued her curiosity. Moreover, Zhang Che also gave her an indescribable sense of familiarity. Later it got better. Later it became easy to meet. This line seems incomplete. I still appear indifferent and cannot be translated as she looks at my back. The feeling of familiarity grows stronger. Until one day, she finally realized that I was the little one, the brother she rescued from the river. She was especially good as a child. I would share all my favorite foods with her. I would fight fiercely against those who bully her. I would dress up to match my status. I would earn a certain status. I would smile broadly and tell her, I am strong. Until middle school, the Tang family fell apart. We lost contact. The two stopped communicating. When they interacted again, Tang Yunren discovered through chatting she was completely different from her childhood self. Tang Yunren felt somewhat gloomy about this. She wanted to bully this forgetful person right in front of her. But as they spent time together, they became constant rivals who bickered every day. Thinking of this, Tang Yunren secretly felt sad. In her past life, Tang Yunren was definitely a bit taller as well. The wounds and pains she had endured, she would also face. She also had a reckless phase. I'm not used to being surprised by boys. Let's help each other practice a bit. The future box can be good. You must seize the opportunity to get Tang Yunren as soon as possible. Tang Yunren has a terrible headache. She can't let go of herself. She needs to find a way to refuse. My mom is really strict with me. If she finds out I'm having dinner with a guy, she will overthink it. Then let's just eat. It sounded like a casual remark. In the most helpless situation, Tang Yunren had no choice but to agree to have dinner with me. After all, it's just one meal. I won't do anything to her, right? After this meal, she would keep her distance from me. Tang Yunren lowered her gaze, deep in thought. I too pondered silently in my heart. Suddenly, I remembered something. Just now, it seemed like Tang Yunren called my name. How strange. How did she know my name? I only know her name. After all, she is the campus belle of Zhongsheng University. Which male student doesn't know the name of the campus belle? Even if I were really interested in this matter in my past life, I would still know that Tang Yunren is the belle of our school. But I'm just an ordinary student from the business department. How did Tang Yunren know my name? Could it be that she has started to like me now? Thinking of this, I secretly became excited. I'll have dinner with her tomorrow. I must find a chance to test the waters. However, the next afternoon, I still hadn't waited for Tang Yunren. Instead, I ran into Tang Yunren's number one admirer, Wu Qingshu. Wu Qingshu and Tang Yunren have been classmates from elementary school to university. He has also been her neighbor and has been pursuing her all along. Later, on the day I married Tang Yunren, he even came over and caused a scene. After the marriage, he still occasionally appeared in my neighborhood. Even after I died, he mentioned more than once that he wanted to take care of Tang Yunren. It's a pity he made me wait until I died. Tang Yunren did not agree to him either. Old Wu is that guy. Zhang Shay from class 6 of the business department. I've already inquired about you. Wang Zhen pointed at me and said to Wu Qingshu. So it's him. Wu Qingshu rolled up his sleeves. He walked up to me. What the hell? You? Stay a bit further away from my house. You're Yunren? Is she your sister or your younger sister? Hey, you little brat, looking for a fight? Wu Qingshu was irritated by my attitude. He rolled up his sleeves and swung at my handsome face. Just as I was about to fight back, I saw Tang Yunren coming down from upstairs. I noticed her looking back. Seeing this, I quickly withdrew my hand. Meet. He hit me. If Tang Yunren sees this, she will definitely feel heartbroken for me. Maybe she would even help me to the infirmary, asking me how I'm doing. This way, their relationship can heat up rapidly. This is what I had in mind. But an unexpected event occurred. Wu Qingshu's fist was just 2.5 centimeters away from my face. Suddenly, my foot slipped and my body lost balance. With a thud, I unexpectedly fell to my knees right in front of him. At this moment, Tang Yunren came rushing over. Looking at Wu Qingshu, who was kneeling on the ground, dazed. Wu Qingshu, kneel down to him. What's going on? What happened to you? Wu Qingshu wanted to cry. He wanted to find a mouse hole to crawl into and cry. We don't need to care about him. Let's go eat. I said this and reached my hand in front of Tang Yunren. I naturally took her bag. I hung it on my arm. Are you going to carry it yourself? Tang Yunren's bag had a pink plush rabbit hanging from it. I thought such a bag didn't suit a big boy like me. But when Tang Yunren reached out and touched my arm, she suddenly froze. What strong arms. She had touched them in a previous life, too. Every time I get drunk, it's her who helps me back home. She changes my clothes that are soaked in alcohol. Not only does she touch me, but she has also secretly kissed me while I was asleep. Of course, it was just a forehead kiss. As for other kinds of kisses, she has thought about it, but she's too shy. Insurance? I reach out to touch Tang Yunren's forehead. Making porridge. Tang Yunren not only turns red, but also looks flustered. What? Her eyes have turned red. She realizes the situation, and hurriedly steps back 2 paces to keep her distance from me. The sun is a bit strong. It's quite hot. Tang Yunren's words start to stutter. Her heart beats faster, uncontrollably. I wonder what I'm doing. Yesterday, I sent her handsome pictures again. I also sent her goodnight messages. And now I'm acting all affectionate towards her. This is definitely not the Zhang Shay she knew in her past life. The sun is indeed quite strong. I looked up at the sun in the sky. GNC. I'll take you to a restaurant. The atmosphere there is quite nice. The food is also pretty good. I guarantee you'll love the dishes here. After saying that, I walked to the other side of the sun, using my height of 183 centimeters to block the sun for Tang Yunren. At first, Tang Yunren didn't notice this. Later, she noticed. She had been walking in my shadow. At first, she thought it was just a coincidence. It was just a coincidence. But she was quick. I walked fast. She walked slowly. So I deliberately slowed down. I tried to let her walk in my shadow as much as possible. Why did he do this? Tang Yunren was baffled. She quietly looked up at me. I saw the young man standing in the sunlight. He looked completely safe. We've finally arrived at this restaurant. I stopped in my tracks. When I turned around, I saw that Tang Yunren's face had turned even redder. The sun is huge. But it shouldn't be this hot, right? At this moment, Tang Yunren looked at the restaurant in front of her with a dazed expression. She used to come to this restaurant often. She really liked the dishes here. Did I bring her here? She wouldn't have known, would she? Unthinkable. It must just be a coincidence. Standing here in the sun. Let's hurry inside. I naturally took Tang Yunren's hand and walked into the restaurant. I found a secluded spot without anyone around. I handed the menu to Tang Yunren. Order whatever you want. Should I treat or are you ordering? Tang Yunren took the menu back. Then I will order. Upon hearing this, Tang Yunren suddenly froze. I don't like eating sauerkraut fish. Yet sauerkraut fish just happens to be her favorite dish. Stuffed lotus root. Tang Yunren blinked her eyes. She knows all the dishes I like. But there are no lotus roots in there. Instead, these are the dishes she likes. Golden dumplings, pot roasted duck, vegetarian ham, and another crucian carp soup. I listed them all in one breath. At this moment, Tang Yunren was completely stunned. All these dishes are her favorites. How did I know? After a few minutes of pondering, Tang Yunren couldn't help but respond. How do you know I like these dishes? But how could I not know? In my past life, after I died, I don't know why I could always stay by Tang Yunren's side. It felt as if there was a gravitational pull. Wherever she went, I followed closely behind. So, the things I didn't notice in life. After death, I stayed by her side every day. Watching her daily life, it's hard not to know. Of course, talking about rebirth, Tang Yunren wouldn't believe it either. Blind guessing. Upon hearing this answer, Tang Yunren expressed disbelief. It is fitting. Blind guessing so many questions and still able to. It doesn't count. Tang Yunren took out her phone to distract herself. I leaned in close to Tang Yunren. Without you, I've just been lucky these past 2 days. If you don't believe me, I'll take you for an experiment later. Tang Yunren raised her gaze. She instantly met the handsome face of the boy, and her breath caught. What kind of experiment? Wait for it, I said mysteriously. Soon, all the dishes were served on the table. Come and have a piece of fish. I used my chopsticks to get a piece of fish for Tang Yunren. Tang Yunren was taken aback. In a past life, she was married to me for many years. I never even picked up the phone for her. She must have also felt it deep down. One day I could suddenly realize her good qualities. I could treat her like an ordinary husband. Yet, I have never been good to her. Thinking of this, Tang Yunren's emotions were slightly out of control, and her eyes reddened. As soon as I noticed something was off with Tang Yunren, I immediately asked with concern. How are your eyes? Are they okay? Tang Yunren was trying hard to calm her emotions. Let me blow on it for you. Sit up straight. Sit up and eat a bit. Seeing that I wanted to help her, Tang Yunren. Immediately, her face turned red, and she instinctively wanted to shy away. My tone was slightly domineering. Hearing this made Tang Yunren's heart race. I even lifted Tang Yunren's chin. I tilted her face up to make it easier to blow. The girl's eyelashes were like butterfly wings. The fake eyelashes fluttered instantly. Watching this made my heart race. Tang Yunren was also lost in thought. At this moment, her face was as red as a ripe fruit in autumn. She was incredibly cute. I gazed at Tang Yunren without blinking. The little girl had already started to like me. It's just that I don't know how to reply right now. There won't be another chance. Okay. My eyes are better now. Tang Yunren pushed my hand away. My heart raced as if it would jump out. At any moment, it feels like it could leap out of my throat. Right now, Tang Yunren's mind is all in a jumble. From yesterday until now, my actions are becoming increasingly incomprehensible to her. Clearly, things did not develop like this in the last life. After finishing the dinner gathering, Tang Yunren just wanted to hurry back to school. If she continued with me like this, she would end up giving rise to unrealistic fantasies. Fantasizing that I had feelings for her. In the last life, she was always by my side. She hoped that one day I would suddenly develop feelings for her. In the end, it was just a wishful thinking. She finally encountered something. She didn't want to become a child in this life. So she wanted to keep her distance from me. That afternoon was alive. That afternoon, we wrote a script. I'll go back first to make preparations. Tang Yunren had just taken her first steps. When I suddenly grabbed her hand, I had no intention of letting go. Have you forgotten what I said during dinner? I told you something. I've just been lucky these past few days. Since you don't believe me, I want to conduct an experiment with you. Just a few minutes. I took Tang Yunren to the entrance of the Chow Tai Fook store. You brought me here for a reason. Tang Yunren looked completely confused. I pointed to the sign next to the door. There's a lottery event. The grand prize is a designated item in the store for free. It's impossible to win this, you know? Just look at that huge lottery box. Not even a chance. Besides, such grand prizes are often very rare. They might be kept by the employees themselves. Tang Yunren thought this was completely impossible. Do you really not believe I can win the grand prize? Let's make a bet then. What do I get if I win? Hearing this, Tang Yunren was stunned for a moment. She looked at me with disbelief. He must be joking, right? He forces himself to kiss him. How could he want to be with him? This must be a joke at her expense, right? Definitely. Thinking of this, a hint of bitterness appeared in Tang Yunren's eyes. Then what if you don't draw it? Then I'll just kiss you. While I was saying this, I was staring at Tang Yunren's red lips. Tang Yunren had very beautiful lips. Even when not smiling, they still looked sweet. They must be very kissable. Tang Yunren rolled her eyes at me again. Stop talking and hurry up and draw. After drawing, I still need to go back to school. Are you that eager to kiss me? Alright, I'll satisfy you. I rolled up my sleeves and got ready to draw. Tang Yunren looked at her watch. There's still half an hour left. I can't delay any longer. Just then, I handed her the drawn note. You open it. Tang Yunren shook her head. The expression was calm as the light quickly flashed. She was just about to speak. Oh, see, it's completely impossible now. Those words almost slipped out. In the end, I saw it on the note. Big, bold letters. Instantly, Tang Yunren's eyes widened in surprise. She could hardly believe her eyes. I looked at Tang Yunren's dumbfounded expression. I gently rubbed her head. I told you, I've been lucky these past couple of days. Tang Yunren was currently in a state of extreme shock. For a moment, I realized I was still touching her head. Don't just stand there, go pick out a prize quickly. It will be done soon. I nudged Tang Yunren towards the prize area. The selection of items in the prize area was limited to just a few dozen models. Who do you want to pick something for, Tang Yunren? Without waiting for my answer, she continued speaking. Is it for your aunt? I looked at Tang Yunren's expression. Upon hearing this, Tang Yunren's pupils clearly dilated. What does it mean? What do you mean? I'm just kidding. This is for you. I'm realizing more and more now. Tang Yunren's little expressions are just too cute. The more I look, the more I like it. I'm not that close to you. Tang Yunren, you. What I just said was too easy to misinterpret. I first said it was chosen for my wife. Now I'm telling her it's for her to choose. Roughly speaking, doesn't that mean I'm waiting for her? In my past life, she was indeed my wife. But she isn't now. Just when Tang Yunren's heart was in chaos, I asked the sales assistant to take out the rings from the glass case. Tang Yunren is staring at the ring in my hand. Why does the heart want to choose a ring? Could it be that Zhang Che already has a girl he likes? So this is the reason for Zhang Che's past life. Is this the reason why he never liked her? Suddenly, my heart feels so painful. She had always been so indifferent in her past life. It turns out that the person I have secretly loved has been in my heart for a long time. But who could I have mentioned this to? It's just the beginning. It's grand now. It's welcome now. It must be taken further. He actually brought her to help, choosing a ring to give to the person he likes. While thinking, Tang Yunren's eyes became moist. Breathe. Heartache makes it hard to breathe. Just as she was about to leave and escape from here, her hand was suddenly pulled by me. She already has someone she likes. Why am I still holding her hand? Before Tang Yunren could pull her hand back, I saw myself putting the ring on her hand. Tang Yunren was stunned. She stared foolishly at the ring on her ring finger. Her mind went completely blank. Wasn't he supposed to give the ring to the girl he likes? Why would he give it to himself? I looked at the ring on Tang Yunren's hand and asked, I like mom. I recalled that in my past life, Tang Yunren was just after a wedding ring. I like it. Tang Yunren instinctively replied. After replying, Tang Yunren immediately shook her head. I can't accept it. Tang Yunren reached out to take off the ring. But I stepped forward and grabbed Tang Yunren's hand. This is something for a girl to wear. If you don't accept it, who should I give it to? To my sister. That wouldn't be appropriate at all. To my mom. My dad would definitely think my mom is having an affair. But it's a ring. I can't accept it. There's no choice with those specified items. This ring has the highest price tag. Since it's free, I should definitely choose the most expensive one. Tang Yunren understood. Is it about the ring? Just because it's the most expensive. It's a pity she thought I was intentionally giving her a ring. If you don't take it, I'll have to throw it away. I said that on purpose. You are truly wasteful. After all that effort to get it, you actually want to throw it away. Yeah, I'm quite the spendthrift. So in the future, I need to find someone to keep me in check. I gazed affectionately at Tang Yunren. The two stood very close to each other. Close enough that Tang Yunren could see into my eyes. Her eyes could see the inner me. This made her blush and her heart race again. I looked at Tang Yunren, who was as red as a cooked shrimp. I wondered if I should confess my feelings to her now. This is a great opportunity. But it's only the second day we've met. I wonder if doing this would scare her off. Or should I wait? Maybe I should wait a little longer. The Shishi festival is coming soon, so I can confess on that day. I need to plan it perfectly. To give her an unforgettable romantic confession. The two went back to school. I insisted on taking Tang Yunren to the art department's teaching building. Hurry and go to class, or you'll be late. Tang Yunren said this while fiddling with her ring. Did you forget something? I looked at Tang Yunren's lips and said. The moment Tang Yunren turned around, she saw where my gaze was fixed. It suddenly occurred to me what bet she and I had made. If she lost, she would give me a kiss. She had kissed me before, after all. But it was always when I was drunk and asleep. It was never a straightforward kiss like this. Someone is in trouble. Hurry up. I leaned my face closer to Tang Yunren's mouth. At this moment, Tang Yunren's heart was racing wildly. Noticing that Tang Yunren remained still for a long time, I intentionally said, Are you trying to back out? I really didn't expect that. Our Zhongshan University's beautiful flower turns out to be someone who doesn't keep her word. Who said I don't keep my word? After saying that, Tang Yunren stood on her tiptoes and closed her eyes. She kissed the corner of my mouth. Then she covered her flushed face and ran away. I was momentarily distracted. I touched the corner of my mouth. My mouth corner lifted up. I only let her kiss. A kiss anywhere is fine. I didn't expect her to kiss here. I suddenly thought that she really intended this. She has indeed started to like me. With words like this, it's like a confession on Shishi Festival. When the class started, I felt great. I walked towards the classroom building at a leisurely pace. I hummed a cheerful song. However, I was unaware of the danger lurking. At this moment, Wu Qingshu glared at me furiously from behind a tree. He saw everything that just happened clearly, thinking of the girl he likes. The act of actively kissing another man. Wu Qingshu wished he could grind me into the ground. He secretly swore that he wouldn't let me have an easy time. After school, I still stuck to Tang Yunren and went home together. The silhouettes of the two entwined and elongated under the sunset. Everything felt so wonderful. Tang Yunren looked at me. With a demeanor completely different from my past life. She thought, could it be that heaven saw her previous life as too miserable? So it specially arranged this lifetime for her. Test. This line may require clarifying due to unclear context. If it is as she guessed, if I really do like her now, then should she accept it? At this moment, Tang Yunren's feelings were very complicated. On one hand, she couldn't control her feelings. On the other hand, she was truly heartbroken by me in her past life. She didn't want to repeat the same mistakes. What happened to the ring I gave you during the day? My sudden words interrupted Tang Yunren's thoughts. Tang Yunren had a ring on her hand. If it's inconvenient, then she won't wear it. This line may require clarifying due to unclear context. What is inconvenient? Or do you think that ring is ugly? Without that ring, it looks good, and I quite like it. Falling in love. I deliberately gave Tang Yunren the ring. It means to announce that this girl is already taken. I put it around my neck. Tang Yunren took the ring out from her bosom. Rings are not meant to be worn around the neck. What you're doing is wasteful. Let me help you put it back on. As I said this, I reached for Tang Yunren's neck. I was going to help her unclasp the chain. Hey, what are you doing? Tang Yunren's face completely flushed. The boy is very tall and big. Very tall and cheerful. Super. I felt like I had her entire being in my embrace. It made her heart race like a startled fawn. Swishing. What if I hurt you? My voice was domineering yet gentle. Hearing this, Tang Yunren immediately softened. She obediently stayed still. She allowed me to move around her neck. I looked at the well-behaved and obedient Tang Yunren, resisting the urge to pull her into my arms and cherish her. Tang Yunren's face was right against my chest. The youth wore a simple shirt. The youth was wearing a plain white t-shirt on top. Boiling water highlighted my strong lines. The contours outlined a rough shape. Seeing this made Tang Yunren blush and her heart race again. No, you can't. Can't it continue any longer? If this keeps up, she will reveal her true colors. Is it still not untied? I'm impressed. Just give it a little scratch. I'm just making wild statements with my eyes wide open. It would have been untied if I had known earlier. Intentionally maintaining this ambiguous posture. To keep our feelings unrestrained. Is it not done yet? Tang Yunren anxiously bit her lip. If it doesn't get better soon, she's going to turn the same color as the evening glow. It will be better soon, making it hard to see clearly. You need to get a little closer. This is already very close, okay? Tang Yunren took a deep breath, and stepped half a step towards my embrace. The distance between us was just 1 centimeter away from being completely close. However, before Tang Yunren could adjust to such a close distance, I suddenly took action and pulled her into my arms. Immediately, the sound of heartbeats echoed in our ears. I couldn't tell if it was hers or mine. I could clearly feel my own heartbeat quickening, breathing in the faint scent of medicine emanating from the girl. I felt that if I didn't do something at this moment, my chest would rise and fall with unease. I prepared myself, and leaned down to sneak a kiss on the girl's ripe, pink earlobe. Instantly, I felt that Tang Yunren suddenly stiffened in my embrace. Feeling the girl's naive reaction, I found it incredibly cute. However, I reluctantly released Tang Yunren. Alright. Tang Yunren stared blankly at Liang, taking a full 2 beats to recover. My mind finally came back from that freeze. My pupils widened and widened. Why you just kissed me? Tang Yunren stammered, biting her lower lip, instinctively covering her ears. It felt tingly here, as if I'd been electrocuted. Maybe I accidentally brushed against you. I put on a rather serious face, acting like a gentleman while spouting nonsense. I didn't just make Tang Yunren. My inner self feels like an older man. But at this moment, Tang Yunren is just a freshman in college. 8 years old. Just turned 18. Indeed, impulsiveness is a devil. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you. Tang Yunren turned her face away. What was she just saying? I was just simply helping her untie her necklace. In my past life, she lived under the same roof with me, sharing every day together. I never crossed the line with her. How could I possibly think of taking advantage of her? I'll help you put the ring on. I had just taken Tang Yunren's hand. Tang Yunren immediately withdrew her hand. No need, I don't want to wear it on my finger. Saying that, Tang Yunren put the ring back around her neck. Indeed, I was too anxious and impulsive. This time I really messed things up with her. To make her give birth to 7. I need to find a way to coax her. Just when I was thinking this, I suddenly felt a very unfriendly gaze shooting towards me. I abruptly turned my head and scanned the surroundings. However, I didn't find anyone suspicious. Tang Yunren couldn't help but feel confused. It seemed like someone was watching me just now. Tang Yunren looked at me with admiration for my handsome face. She whispered something quietly, impressed by my striking looks. So handsome. Isn't it normal for someone to look at you? What did you just say? Huh? Tang Yunren felt nervous inside. The words she just said were soft. They were actually heard. Are your ears like a dog's? That can't be right. I clearly heard you saying something just now. You weren't secretly talking bad about me, were you? No, I wasn't. Then swear it. Swear to it, dear. Although their conversation was quite childish, it gave off a feeling of beauty and harmony. Not far away, Wu Qingshu glared angrily. His eyes nearly popped out. How despicable. Zhang Che, this little brat, dares to provoke my goddess. What made Wu Qingshu even angrier was Tang Yunren's delicate and shy appearance. It was something he had never seen before. Although he grew up with Tang Yunren treated him as the cold, indifferent attitude. It's a world of difference from how she treats me. Old Wu has already made the arrangements. We can take action now. Wang Zhen reminded from the side. Hurry and let them take action. I want to make Yunren completely disappointed in that scoundrel. Wu Qingshu bit down hard on his molars. At this moment, Tang Yunren and I had just come out of the pharmacy. I saw two girls pounce on me from the left and right. Little Shesh, you're so bad. It's been 2.5 days, why haven't you come to find me? One of the girls in a crop top spoke sweetly, while playfully punching my chest with her little fists. Exactly, that's right. I've missed you so much. The other girl in mini shorts pouted, pretending to ask for a kiss. And Wu Qingshu, hiding in a concealed spot, wore a mischievous smile. Now let's see how you explain this to Yunren. I said, did you mistake me for someone else? It wasn't me who said that. It was Tang Yunren. Tang Yunren looked at the two girls with a cold gaze. I watched Tang Yunren stand up to speak for herself. A look of surprise appeared on my face. How am I going to explain this to Tang Yunren? But then Tang Yunren said something like that. Hey, who are you? Are you the new flame that Xiao Che found? The girl in the crop top said, hands on her hips. At this moment, I felt it was necessary to clarify things with Tang Yunren. Otherwise, Tang Yunren might misunderstand and think I'm really a playboy. Then no matter how I jump into the clear river, I wouldn't be able to clear my name. Yunren. I don't know them. Tang Yunren nodded. I believe you. She knows what kind of person I am. Although she doesn't know what the situation with these two girls is. But she understands my character. Hearing Tang Yunren say this, I was moved to tears inside. Although I suspected that Tang Yunren had already fallen for me, I didn't expect her to like me to this extent. Or rather, to trust me unconditionally. Such things. Anyone would be moved to hold back their feelings. Yunren, thank you. I grabbed Tang Yunren's shoulder, looking at her tenderly. How could Tang Yunren withstand me using such a loving gaze at her? She quickly turned her head away, and brought my hands together. The two girls standing nearby were suddenly caught off guard. They expressed that they were overwhelmed. Hey, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are to monopolize on Lil Shesh? The girl in the crop top pushed Tang Yunren's shoulder. She pushed Tang Yunren, causing her to stumble and fall back. I reached out and wrapped my arm around Tang Yunren's slender waist to steady her. Tang Yunren shook her head. In the next second, my gaze toward the two girls instantly turned icy. How dare you touch my woman? Have you asked me? Hearing this, Tang Yunren's red lips moved slightly. Her pupils suddenly dilated. Her eyes were fixated on my silhouette. The figure of a young man seemed to be etched in the twilight canvas of the fading light. The outline was distinct and firm. It gave her an unprecedented sense of security. She looked at him, her heart racing like a startled deer. Apologized to her. I looked at the girl in a crop top who had just pushed Tang Yunren. The girl in the crop top was scared by me. She turned around and ran away. The girl in hot pants was also afraid I would cause her trouble. She followed suit and slipped away. Stop right there. All right, just deal with them four. Tang Yunren pulled my arm and said. But after pulling the young man's arm, Tang Yunren suddenly realized my arms have really become quite strong now. And when I just held her in my arms, because it was pressed so closely, tight enough that it felt like it was sinking in, so she could clearly feel my muscles. Tang Yunren remembered the photo of my abs I sent her before, thinking to herself, could it really be true? I noticed Tang Yunren's gaze, and thought about the photos I sent her. Didn't you not believe I had an 8-pack last time? I'll show you now. After saying that, I was about to pull up my t-shirt. Scared, Tang Yunren turned and ran away. Why are you running? I looked at Tang Yunren, who was running away in confusion. Then I looked down at myself, and suddenly seemed to understand something. I'm flirting with a little girl, huh? Wu Qingshu, who witnessed this scene, hiding in a concealed place, her face turned a dark purple. Back to evil. It's simply despicable. Old Wu, why don't we just rush up to him? Wang Zhen suggested. We'll talk about this only when absolutely necessary. Then do you have any other plan? Isn't our class having a basketball game with theirs tomorrow? At that time, on the basketball court. I want him to embarrass himself in front of Yunren. But what if he doesn't play? Wu Qingshu sneered. A confident expression appeared on his face. He won't. At that time, he won't have a choice. And Tang Yunren, who ran home, looking at her face in the mirror, which was as red as an apple. She indeed is a person who was reborn in her 30s. But whether it was in the past or this life, but no matter if it was before or today, there's always a love story. Thinking about the sweet moments we just shared, Tang Yunren's face turned even redder. My face was flushed all the way to my neck and behind my ears. My mind was filled with thoughts of her that I couldn't shake off. She didn't understand why I was like this toward her. This is completely different from my past life. It's such a mess. This feeling is something she also likes. Just when she was lost in thought, her phone suddenly received a message from me. What are you busy with? I want to hear your voice. Tang Yunren's breath felt a bit hot. After calming down for 2 seconds, she pressed her red lips together. She edited the message again. It seems like you have something on your mind. I don't know if she's overthinking it. I just feel like my emotions are a bit off. Tang Yunren actually guessed correctly. After I got home, while giving a birthday gift to my sister Zhang Yuan, memories suddenly flashed back to my past life. I suddenly fell ill and died. Zhang Yuan cried and threw a tantrum over my coffin. That's when I realized how much Zhang Yuan cares about me, her brother who can't remember her birthday. I feel guilty and sad. That's just how it is with you. I want to hear your voice. I miss her. I actually said I miss her. Tang Yunren pressed her phone against her left chest and returned to the front, accompanied by her chaotic breathing. Her chest visibly rose and fell. I saw that Tang Yunren hadn't replied for a long time. A hint of annoyance appeared on my face. No wonder women often say men are cheap. In my past life, Tang Ran took care of me meticulously, but I was blind to it and never noticed. Now I regret wanting it. I watched Spring Tune. It's so late. I shouldn't disturb her anymore. Just as I was about to put down my phone, the sound of a new message notification rang out. Tang Yunren sent it as a voice message. What's wrong with you? What's going on? Are you facing some troubles? The girl's voice is gentle and melodious. Hearing it made me feel like the rain had cleared. My wife is really good to me. I shouted in excitement. I felt like I was revitalized, like I had been injected with adrenaline. Also very impressive. 2 is impressive too. Just a bit insomnia. I simply want to hear your voice. I just want to hear her voice. Why do I want to hear her voice? Tang Yunren kept picking at the rhinestones on her phone case, one after another. At this moment, her heart felt like it was being scratched by claws. It was as itchy as her fingers that couldn't stop picking at the gems. Can't follow his rhythm. My heart was beating so fast I could hardly breathe. Thinking of this, Tang Yunren changed the subject and sent a message. Happy birthday to your sister. A sound of confusion came out of my mouth. How did she know today is Zhang Yuan's birthday? I should have told her. Could it be that she also came back to life? As soon as this idea came to mind, I immediately dismissed it in my heart, because the probability of rebirth has already dropped to the Mariana Trench. The idea of both being reborn, anyway, I only read about it in novels. Even if it were possible, the odds would be nearly zero, right? So this is practically impossible. Excluding this possibility, there's only one other possibility left. I sent a few voice messages. I only mentioned my sister's birthday to you before, but I didn't tell you her birthday is today. How did you know? Tang Yunren instinctively parted her red lips. She had been following my lead just now, eager to change the subject. Little did she know, in her haste, she forgot about her. Right now, she doesn't know Zhang Yuan's birthday. How is she going to explain this? However, before Tang Yunren could think of a response, I was the one to send a message first. Is it possible that, did I guess that she was coming? This is so nerve-wracking. What if I ask her this later? A new message came through again. Are you secretly in love with me? So you investigated me secretly? Oh, Tang Yunren was taken aback. How is this so different from what she imagined? No direct translation signifies completion. How could I possibly agree with you? Isn't it normal to have a crush on me? I'm handsome, after all. You're really full of yourself. Tang Yunren said aloud. But then again, I'm handsome, and I'm even more handsome now. When she was with me during the day, she secretly glanced at me. Her skin is truly beautiful. It's getting so good that it's almost catching up to hers. Have you been feeling something lately? I smiled when I saw this message. This girl clearly thinks I'm handsome but won't admit it. Women, they love to say one thing and mean another. They say they don't want it, but deep down, they're hoping for it. Do you want to know? Sure. Call me, husband, and I'll tell you. After Tang Yunren sent 3 messages, I was so angry that I turned off my phone. You really want my response, huh? Tang Yunren muttered to herself. She snapped back to reality and realized the water on her phone was completely worn out by her. It's all Zhang Che's fault. He keeps sending her strange messages and saying things that make her blush and easily lead to misunderstandings. If it weren't for this, her phone case, which she just bought not long ago, wouldn't be ruined. Chatting with Zhang Che caused her phone case to fall apart. That's right. Sleep, sleep. Tang Yunren angrily threw herself onto the bed. She pulled up a corner of the blanket and habitually tucked it between her legs. Sleeping like this gave her an extra sense of security. However, Tang Yunren lay in bed, tossing and turning but unable to fall asleep, her head facing the nightstand with her phone. She turned her phone off. What if a message comes in? Unbeknownst to her. If Zhang doesn't sleep and keeps waiting for her to reply to messages. The more she thought about it, the more her mind felt like a tangled mess. The more I try to sort it out, the more chaotic it becomes. I won't care anymore. She had already, before she died, will no longer have anything to do with me in the future. It's Zhang Che's business to send messages. Love is fragile and can be hurt. Tang Yunren lifted her pillow to cover her face. Fried and grilled. 10 minutes later, Tang Yunren turned her phone on. She opened WeChat to our chat interface. Sure enough, I had sent a new message. There were 2 voice messages. Both were loose. Is it full? Tang Yunren curiously tapped on the first voice message. The words, good night. Clearly, it's a youthful love at 18. Yet, the voice carried a hint of magnetism. Listening made Tang Yunren feel like her ears were about to get pregnant. After a full minute of calming down, Tang Yunren slowly managed to compose herself. There was another voice message. What did it say? Tang Yunren reached out her finger to tap on it. Baby. With a thud, the phone slipped from her hand. It fell onto the bedsheet. Tang Yunren stayed in a daze. She remained in that position for a while before regaining her senses. What did I just say to her? Baby. Impossible. I would never call her baby. She must have misheard. Tang Yunren picked up her phone. She reopened the last voice message to listen to it again. Baby. Indeed. It really is. Baby. She didn't mishear it. I really called her baby. Tang Yunren pulled the blanket over her head. Otherwise, she was afraid her cries would wake the neighbors. That night, Tang Yunren hardly slept. Her mind was filled with my voice. Baby, 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 endlessly. While I had a peaceful night's sleep, I even dreamt that Tang Yunren was mine. It's only a matter of time. I still don't believe it. If I shamelessly pursued Tang Yunren and couldn't win her over, Then I would have wasted this handsome face. And my fit, strong body. The next day, right after class, Wu Qingshu came over and threatened me. Zhang Che, our basketball game between the two classes is about to start. You go on, and we'll settle this once and for all. Whoever loses has to withdraw. And never pursue Yunren again. Are you using Yunren as a bet? Betting on her? I looked up at Wu Qingshu with composure. The youthful, unrestrained spirit was evident in his brows. So you're backing down? Wu Qingshu deliberately provoked me. Provocation doesn't work on me. Yunren is a person, not something to be wagered. Who treats Yunren as a betting item? Stop exaggerating. I just want to ask, do you dare to compete with me? In my rebirth, I have the skills of a basketball expert. What's there to be afraid of? Alright, I'll play against you. You're on. Just keep your distance from Yunren. You can't entangle her anymore from now on. Ha ha ha. Wu Qingshu burst into laughter. You just said that doing this is treating Yunren as a bet. What are you doing now? I am different from you. I'm not saying this to put her on the line. I'm saying this for her sake. I don't want her to be bothered by flies buzzing in her ears all day long, disturbing her peace. You are good. Wu Qingshu was so angry that his fingertips trembled. Just wait and see. We'll see on the court later. Let's see if you can still be so arrogant then. Wu Qingshu shook his hand and turned to leave. Beautiful furnace. Tang Yunren was lost in thought. It wasn't just simple daydreaming. Instead, she kept replaying in her mind the words from last night with me. I said I missed her. I called her, baby. The more she thought about it, the redder Tang Yunren's face became. She didn't want to think about it all the time either. It's just that she didn't realize it herself. It felt like she was enchanted. My voice, filled with masculine charm, echoed in her mind. She really does have a thing for me, doesn't she? But she has already convinced herself that she doesn't like me anymore. But she is already fine. Just when Tang Yunren was feeling overwhelmed, the classroom suddenly became noisy. In the hallway, many female students were running in groups. What happened? Jin Xiaoqiao asked in confusion. Don't you know? It's the basketball game between Class 5 of the Computer Science Department and Class 6 of the Business Department. Class 5 of the Business Department. Yunren. Isn't that the class you were in? I remember he was amazing at basketball. He must have been to a basketball training camp, right? Tang Yunren nodded. Yeah, his uncle is the coach of the basketball team. I see. Then let's go take a look. Another female student said excitedly. Together. Zhang Che from Class 6 of the Business Department is also there. Many female students are there for him. Why didn't I pay special attention to him before? He has become more and more handsome. He seems like he could rival the school heartthrob. Tang Yunren exclaimed in surprise. In her past life, she attended this basketball game. Actually, last night, she also received a message from Wu Qingshu asking her to go watch. She remembers it very clearly. She did not participate in this basketball game. This basketball game. Speaking of which, it seems a lot of things are unclear. She has thought about this issue but has never understood it. Could it be that the world she is currently in is not literally her past life? Just a plain area? She is confused and doesn't know what to think. She doesn't understand. Whenever Xiaoqiao thinks about what happened in the infirmary a few days ago, pulling on Tang Yunren's arm, it fills her with anger. Tang Yunren nodded. She thinks the same way. She has made her decision regarding everything that happened a few days ago. From now on, she wants to stay clear-headed, stay calm. From now on, she will completely cut ties with me. If I come looking for her again, if the situation gets awkward, she will adopt an aloof attitude indicating no entry. She will completely ignore me. Tang Yunren descended the steep mountain, but her eyes seemed to have a mind of their own. They involuntarily gazed out the window. I shouldn't look. Tang Yunren forcefully turned her neck back. To distract herself, Tang Yunren took out her sketchbook and started drawing. In 2.5 minutes, she had drawn a basketball. Tang Yunren kept her eyes on the basketball in the sketchbook. As she looked, it seemed like the basketball came to life. I was dribbling and preparing to shoot. Suddenly, Tang arrived. Jin Xiaoqiao looked up at Tang Yunren. Tang Yunren arrived at the basketball court. The game hadn't started yet. Both teams were engaged in their pre-game preparations. Tang Yunren spotted it at a glance. Wearing a red jersey on the court. She was strikingly radiant. I was undoubtedly the most eye-catching person in the arena. Handsome face and strong body, exuding the unique charm of a sunshine boy. Watching it made Tang Yunren's face flush and her heart race uncontrollably. I felt a sense of connection as if my heart knew. I stopped my warm-up moves. I looked out at the crowd of onlookers. After scanning the crowd, my gaze finally landed on Tang Yunren. She came to watch me play basketball. Since that's the case, I absolutely can't lose. Just as I was about to raise my hand to greet Tang Yunren, Wu Qingshu ran over to Tang Yunren with excitement. He blocked their view. Yunren, you're here to watch me play basketball. Wu Qingshu deliberately showed off in front of Tang Yunren. He lifted his arm to flex his muscles. Tang Yunren glanced casually. She swept a look over his muscles. They weren't as appealing as Zhang Che's. Tang Yunren turned her head to look around Wu Qingshu. She saw me waving at her. She then raised her hand in response. She waved back at me. Wu Qingshu turned his head and saw me, following Tang Yunren's gaze. Watching the way the two of them were looking at each other over him, I was so angry I could almost spit blood. After all, he was caught in between you two. Can you not treat him like air? There's no such thing as the most irritating person, only more irritating ones. Many of the girls watching were fawning over me. Wow, wow, wow. Look, number 11 is so handsome. He's really handsome. I wonder if he has a girlfriend? If he has a girlfriend, I would make her a former girlfriend. Listening to these infatuated girls, Wu Qingshu's mouth twitched in speechlessness. Can good looks really be eaten? If it were possible. He really wanted to tear my face off and put it on his. Tang Yunren looked left and right. Tang Yunren spoke. No matter the past or the present, I am still so attractive. Especially now. I'm so handsome it makes people want to go back and have little monkeys with me. Watching the young man's skin glow in the sunlight, Tang Yunren felt a little jealous. She had previously asked how to take care of her skin. It turns out to be true. Company. Wu Qingshu noticed that Tang Yunren was staring at me intently. The flames of jealousy shot straight to his head. His fists clenched tightly, making cracking sounds. Yunren. I will definitely win this basketball game. Just wait and see. After finishing, Wu Qingshu turned his head, looking at me with intense hostility. He wanted to smash my annoying face with the ball. As the whistle blew, the game began. On the basketball court, I relied on my handsome moves, which drew explosive cheers from the crowd. It also made Tang Yunren unable to contain her excitement. The girls next to Tang Yunren were so infatuated they even let out chicken-like clucks. What I didn't expect was that Wu Qingshu, cornered like a mad dog, took the opportunity while I was jumping up to dunk, and directly reached out to grab my shirt. Caught off guard, I was yanked down, and fell heavily to the ground. Wu Qingshu looked at me, curled up on the ground, holding my leg in pain. A look of satisfaction showed on his face. Deserved it. This is the outcome of standing against him. Suddenly, a clear female voice rang out behind Wu Qingshu. When Tang Yunren saw me injured and bleeding, her mind went blank. Without a second thought, she rushed to my side. Are you okay? Tang Yunren's eyes turned red with urgency. I'm fine. I gritted my teeth and replied. Tang Yunren looked at the blood on my knee. My heart jumped to my throat. Her furrowed brows were filled with concern. I can't believe I'm still saying it's nothing after being hurt like this. I'll help you to the infirmary. Tang Yunren wrapped her arms around my waist while we were on the upper floor. She pulled me so that I leaned against her. I didn't expect there would be such a benefit from being hurt. The injury was worth it. It turned out quite well. I hid my happiness inside. I mustn't let Tang Yunren notice anything. I need to act a bit more exaggerated. This way, she'll care about me even more. Just when I was happily thinking about this, Wu Qingshu intercepted us. Why are you so nice to him? Is it just because he's good looking? You can't be fooled by this pretty boy. He's just a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's really bad. Wu Qingshu was both anxious and angry. It's you. Tang Yunren's chest heaved with anger. She glared at Wu Qingshu. No translation needed, as this is incomplete. He actually pulled Yang's clothes. If something happened to his leg, that would be better. If something happens, I'll deal with you. Looking at the furious Tang Yunren, who was angry for my sake, I couldn't help but chuckle a bit. I didn't expect this girl to have such a fierce side. The way she yelled at Wu Qingshu, it seemed like she would pounce on Wu Qingshu in the next second. The more I thought about it, the happier I felt. This little girl still says she doesn't like herself. She treats me like family now. This line seems incomplete or out of context for translation. Tang Yunren is furious. She's really angry. My leg is hurt like this. It's bleeding. My knee is still oozing blood. It's bleeding. Wu not only didn't apologize, he even said I'm the bad one. Alright, don't be angry anymore. It's just a small injury, I'm really fine. I advised her. Not afraid of the strong. Tang Yunren is nice. Zhang Che is the same. Injured words. Don't you know you should conserve your energy? You're even speaking up for Wu Qingshu. Why are you so nice to Wu Qingshu? You see how well I treat her? Is Wu Qingshu really that important to me? Up to this point, Tang Yunren secretly resented Wu Qingshu. Wu Qingshu looked at the way Tang Yunren was gazing at him. He was not only angry but also a bit jealous. He could understand the anger. What is this smell of jealousy? Alright, I'll listen to you and not say anything. I deliberately leaned my head close to Tang Yunren. I could smell the faint fragrance coming from the girl. The more I smelled it, the better it became. The more I smelled, the more addicted I got. Tang Yunren noticed that I was very close to her. The boy's profile was almost touching her face. Member. I thought I clearly heard the garden. I couldn't even hold back from being close to her. I actually tried to show off in front of her. I also met with her. Clearly, I called her, baby, last night. Ming never treated her like one of his own. Tang Yunren instinctively quickened her pace when she got angry. The wound on my leg is still bleeding. I fell behind all of a sudden. I let out a muffled grunt. Lu is not pleased at all. I didn't mean to walk so fast. Tang Yunren accidentally bumped into my lips. Tang Yunren's face turned as red as a cooked shrimp. The kind that's still steaming. I was just pressing up against Tang Yunren earlier. I leaned in closer to her face just to catch a few more breaths. I didn't expect such a happy accident to happen. After Tang Yunren regained her composure, her panicked gaze darted around. Don't worry. Nobody saw that just now. I touched my lips and said. Tang Yunren caught a glimpse of my movement out of the corner of her eye. It made her particularly want to find a way. I must have done it on purpose. It's really frustrating. She was angry. If it weren't for the fact that I was injured, she would definitely throw me out right away. In the classroom, Jin Xiaoqiao was watching Tang Yunren. The key exam questions I had previously drawn for her. What's going on? It has already been 20 minutes. Did Yunren get stuck in the restroom? Just as Jin Xiaoqiao was thinking this, a new message popped up on the campus network backend. Jin Xiaoqiao is a gossip fanatic. She has to know all the gossip on campus. However, when Xiaoqiao took out her phone, she was stunned. The headline on the campus network. Surprisingly, it was a harmonious scene of Tang Yunren supporting me. This appears to be incomplete or out of context. Didn't Yunren go to the restroom? Why is she with Zhang Xiaobai again? What's going on here? Tang Yunren helped me to the moon. Hastily put 3. Quickly pulled the doctor to help him with the blood. Doctor, please help him with the blood. Hurry up. Doctor, why are you moving so fast? You might hurt him. The doctor is trying to save lives. He looked at Tang Yunren with a very strange and complicated expression. Watching Tang Yunren's nervous expression, I comforted her by saying, it's really just a small injury. The way you are acting makes it seem like I'm about to die. The word, death, affected Tang Yunren. In a previous life, when she received the news of my death, it is said that the sky is colorful. She felt like the whole world. She completely could not believe it. I left her just like that. Later, she said a phrase. She hurriedly rushed to the hospital. She saw the cloth covering my face. At that moment, she couldn't hold back her emotions and spoke out. She couldn't accept that I was gone. She pleaded with the doctor to save me, no matter what it took. Even if it meant sacrificing her own life in exchange. I kept staring at Tang Yunren, watching her expression grow increasingly sad and devastated. I wondered if I had said something wrong just now. Yunren. I tentatively called out. Tang Yunren was still immersed in the sadness of my past life. She didn't hear my call. I frowned and reached out to take Tang Yunren's hand. Yunren. What's wrong? It was only after my touch that Tang Yunren snapped back to reality, looking at the vibrant me in front of her. Instead of a cold, stiff corpse, her emotions suddenly froze. She fell directly into my arms. Woo woo woo, Zhang Che. You idiot. Who told you to talk about dying? You won't die, not at all. Woo woo woo. Tears streamed down Tang Yunren's face in big drops. It sent me gifts of clothes. I was stunned. What did she just say? Saying that I wouldn't die. That I would never die. At this moment, a bold thought began to take shape in my mind. Could it be that she has also been reborn? I looked down at Tang Yunren, who was sobbing uncontrollably in my arms. This sight made me feel as if it were a déjà vu. In my previous life, after I suddenly died from illness, my soul left my body. I saw with my own eyes Tang Yunren holding me. Her cold body was crying heartbreakingly. It was exactly this appearance before me. The more I thought about it, the more I felt in my heart that the idea I had just formed was highly probable. But that didn't seem right. If she really has been reborn, with the memories of her past life, how could she easily forgive me? I remember very clearly that she wanted a clean break with me. Unless she somehow could, she would definitely not fall in love with me again. That kind of despair, that kind of determination, still lingers in my memory vividly to this day. But if it weren't for, how could Tang Yunren say such things just now? And what about her extreme reaction now? It just doesn't make any sense at all. Tang Yunren is still lying on me. I sighed. I raised my hand and gently patted her back to comfort her, just like soothing a child. However, my comforting didn't make Tang Yunren stop. Instead, it made her feel even more heartbroken and wronged. Her cries became even louder. Jin Xiaoqiao hadn't even reached the infirmary yet when she heard Tang Yunren's cries. This seems to contain a typo or context issue, unable to translate accurately. That bastard actually bullied Yunren to the point of crying. He sulkily entered the infirmary. He saw Tang Yunren crying heartbreakingly in my embrace. Seeing this, even Jin Xiaoqiao didn't get angry anymore. At this scene, everyone was stunned. They were completely dumbfounded, frozen in place. And when Tang Yunren heard the noise, I realized she was reacting to it. She quickly pulled away from my embrace. Not good. She just lost control of her emotions. I must think her behavior is quite strange. Plus, she took the initiative to hug me just now. Jin Xiaoqiao saw the scene. How embarrassing. Clear explanation. How should I explain this? Jin Xiaoqiao came to Tang Yunren's side, looking at her with an utterly puzzled expression. Reached out to touch Tang Yunren's forehead. You don't have a fever. Tang Yunren just wants to find a hole to hide in right now. The hole is indeed available. But I was the first to escape the scene. Thinking of this, Tang Yunren hurriedly turned around and ran. Yunren, where are you going? Wait for me. Jin Xiaoqiao chased after her and ran out. After that, I sent messages to Tang Yunren, but she never replied. Maybe she hasn't calmed down yet. Until after dinner, Tang Yunren finally sent a message. The doctor said you should not get wet. Upon seeing this message, I suddenly felt like I had encountered rain after a long drought. She really is still mine. I planned to tease her a bit. Why are you just now messaging me? I've already taken a shower. No wonder my legs hurt so much. Upon hearing this, Tang Yunren immediately got anxious. Don't you have this basic knowledge? After suffering such a serious injury, how could you take a shower? So I need someone to remind me. After I edited the text and sent it out, I then pressed the voice message button again. Then pressed the voice message button again for you to respond. And respond. Yunren, you should respond to this person. Tang Yunren opened the voice message. Her ears received 1,000,000 points of impact. What are you saying? I can't understand. I'm not stupid. It's clear that Tang Yunren is avoiding answering this question. If the man continues to press in this situation, then he would really be foolish. There are only two possible responses. One is that they like you but are too shy to answer. The second point is that I still feel uncertain. I don't know how to answer you. This topic has been discussed. This is not the case. So I changed the topic. The next question is what I've been wanting to ask all day. What do your words mean? Upon hearing this, Tang Yunren's pupils suddenly widened. Yet I still asked, how will you respond? Tang Yunren felt inner turmoil and unease. I looked at the interface of the machine. I touched my chin and analyzed it carefully. During the day, I had my suspicions about Tang Yunren. It's very likely she was born the same way as me. Although being a dualborn is a rare thing. But then again, why should only I be allowed to live like this? Tang Yunren cannot have a second chance? This is the reasoning. The Earth doesn't revolve around just me. One person on Earth. Just when I was thinking this, Tang Yunren finally sent me a message. You think? What do you mean by, you are too much? Tang Yunren gripped the fabric of her clothes at her chest. She nervously bit her lip. Don't lose your composure. As long as she doesn't admit she was reborn, who can say she really came back? I'm really just overthinking, Mom. I furrowed my brows. Reflecting on what has happened recently, Tang Yunren mentioned my name. I was puzzled at that moment. However, I couldn't be sure. After all, he had solid evidence to prove it. Eat more. No, Tang Yunren is indeed Tang Yun. It won't change because of some influence. I had long decided. I will take good care of her in this life. To make up for the mistakes and regrets of the last life. Everything will be fine. I saw you crying so painfully. Ask. Just worried you're asking. Seeing this message I sent, Tang Yunren obviously breathed a sigh of relief. Turns out the one who overthought was her. I asked that simply out of concern for her. I didn't have any thoughts of fantastical and impractical metaphysical theories. Is your leg okay? Tang Yunren remembered what I said about taking a shower earlier. There's anger again inside. How can you not take care of your own body at all? I'm not heartbroken. The others she mentioned refers to my parents. It has nothing to do with her. I was actually lying to you. Protect. Is it fun to tease me? Tang Yunren is angry. Just as she prepared to throw her phone away, while not paying attention to me anymore, I sent a new message. I like you. I only like you alone. All at once. Tang Yunren's face turned red. At this moment, she pursed her lips to hold back a shy smile. My heart was racing uncontrollably. I noticed you change. You've become quite slick with your words. I need to explain something. I'm not someone who just talks sweetly. This is sweet talk just for you. So cheesy. Tang Yunren grabbed a pillow and buried her face in it. Her heart was pounding uncontrollably. Immediately, my message came through again. Saturday is a wasted trip. I want to go watch a movie. I watched a movie alone. TALEXENT. Let's go together. She watches the movie. Tang Yunren's breathing became rapid. If she goes, would that be considered a date? After experiencing what happened during the day, Tang Yunren's heart underwent a significant change. Before, she had been thinking of avoiding me. Forget about me. She didn't want to repeat the same mistakes as before. But when she saw me injured and bleeding, when she heard me mention death, she couldn't contain her emotions. It turned out she still loves me so much. It has seeped into her bones and engraved itself in her. She can't forget about me. If I always treat her well, she might try to love boldly once again. Thoughts aside. But in the last life, this man also had it hard. It's not as simple as just saying it. Since that's the case, let's just go with the flow. 4. I sent 2 messages in quick succession. Tang Yunren pulled her thoughts back. I agreed to help Xiao Xiao on Saturday. And I also tapped my forehead. I was too busy arranging to watch a movie with Tang Yunren. I completely forgot about the promise I made to my good buddy Lee. I forgot about the social gathering I promised to attend with him. I suddenly remembered that I had plans on Saturday. Then how about Sunday? Are you free on Sunday? I am free on Sunday. Great. Then I'll come to your house at that time. You can go ahead by yourself. Tang Yunren doesn't want her family to know about us yet. Especially her 3 brothers. Her 3 brothers hated me the most in her past life. They thought I wasn't worthy of her. They tried to fight me several times. It was always 3 against 1, without any sense of fairness. I ended up bruised and battered every time. Although that was in a past life. In this life, the images of their fights have always remained very vivid in her mind. So it's better to keep them apart and avoid meeting. Why don't you let me pick you up? I originally wanted to remove the backseat of the bicycle at home. Then ride the bicycle to pick up Tang Yunren. I'm afraid my family will misunderstand if they see you. Misunderstand that we are that kind of good. Tang Yunren's words carried a hint of testing. Testing what I really mean to her now. Big rules. I'm not an 18-year-old boy with big rules. I'm an 18-year-old kid. It's clear to see the implication in Tang Yunren's words. I could actually follow up on Tang Yunren's words. To say they were originally from that department. But saying that would delay important matters. After all, I've long wanted to take it seriously. Lover. We'll wait for the Shishi Festival romance. I want to give Tang Yunren a grand and unforgettable romantic confession for life. I must hold back. Will I or won't I? I'll come to pick you up then. After Tang Yunren saw such a message, a disappointed expression appeared on her face. She had been teasing earlier. I would say it domineeringly. We were originally that kind of relationship. Unfortunately, we are not. You'd better not flirt. It would be fine if my parents saw you. But if my 3 brothers saw you, they might get rough. Seeing this, I suddenly felt a bit uneasy. But thinking carefully, I indeed mistreated Tang Yunren in my past life. They were also angry but didn't lay a hand on me. I'll still come to pick you up this weekend. At that time, you can contact me anytime. Sneak out when your family isn't paying attention. Is sneaking out good? Tang Yunren thought about it and felt it was quite good. Okay then. On Saturday evening, I was dragged by Lee to the KTV we had agreed on. But to my surprise, Tang Yunren actually came too. At that moment, Tang Yunren's face didn't look good at all. She occasionally glared at me. Seeing me pretend to be casual, she was extremely angry. Give her one chance. It's a shame she was still thinking of giving one chance. As a result, I even came here to attend the social event. I even deliberately put on this high-class demeanor. She must know that girls really like high-class guys now. Girls really like high-class guys. That's why I intentionally acted this way to attract them. At that moment, a girl named Wang Xiao looked at me and asked, "Do you have a girlfriend?" Upon hearing this, Tang Yunren lifted her head. However, as soon as she raised her head, she saw me looking her way. This made her heart flutter with confusion. It caused her heart to race. Someone is asking. Someone is asking if you have a girlfriend. This might lead her to misunderstand. When I said this word, my eyes were fixed directly on Tang Yunren. From Tang Yunren's perspective, it seemed like I was being straightforward with her. I felt my face flush and my heart race for 2 seconds. Tang Yunren frowned slightly. Or perhaps she was just overthinking it. If she was just overthinking it, then I would say I have someone I like. Who is the person I like? When Tang Yunren thinks that the person I like is not her, her heart feels like it's being tugged painfully. Regarding Tang Yunren's reaction, I see it clearly, and it brings me joy. Has it really come to this? I'm not going to hide it anymore. I directly stood up and went around Wang Xiao. Wang Xiao looked up at me in surprise, secretly delighted in her heart. Is she being noticed by a cool, aloof god? Today she is destined to encounter romance. She has actually caught the eye of such a handsome guy. She figured it out. Just wait, as long as I drive back. She will immediately agree. Just when Wang Xiao was determined, I suddenly spoke up. Sorry MN, can I switch seats with you? Hearing my serious tone, hearing the price, Wang Xiao's mind lagged and she couldn't react immediately. It's not just Wang Xiao. There are also others in the private room. They are all staring at me intently. I noticed that Wang Xiao remained silent for a long time. I repeated what I just said. After Wang Xiao responded dully a couple of times, he just stood up and went to Tang Yunren's side. Tang Yunren stared at me beside her with a dazed expression. Her red lips slightly parted. Why didn't you tell me 2 nights ago that you were coming to a social event? She even wanted to ask you. Why didn't you say anything? Tang Yunren retorted. You know there's a misunderstanding. I came to the social event just to make up the numbers. If you don't believe me, ask Fatty. He was the one who asked me to come and help. After washing my hair, I looked towards the lawn. You're still standing there stupidly. Hurry up and help explain. Yes. Tang School Beauty, don't get me wrong. My brother didn't want to come at first. I threatened him with jumping off a building. I begged him to help me make up the numbers. Speaking of this, Li Hao then realized that he originally was just a busybody. He initially called me over because he didn't want me to hang on to Tang Yunren. But in fact, we had long been sneaking around. Zhang Che is really not being a good friend. He certainly made sure I treated when there was free time. So it's like this. Tang Yunren looked at Li Hao and didn't seem to be lying. That being said, she's strong. After all, she has been reborn. In her previous life, the moment she encountered me in college, she recognized that I was the boy who saved her from the river as a child. Ever since then, she had been secretly observing me. Some things that were revealed. So she knew I had a girlfriend. What about you? I asked Tang Yunren in return. I was entrusted by Xiao Chao. She was originally supposed to attend this social event. Isn't the end of the semester approaching? She needs to focus on her studies. So she asked me to come in her place. However, just as Tang Yunren finished explaining, she saw me smiling. This made Tang Yunren suddenly realize. Why was she so eager to explain? Didn't that just expose her true intentions? I understand now. I leaned in closer to Tang Yunren and nodded. In that moment, my smile clearly showed. It made Tang Yunren so shy that she wanted to run away. Given the current situation, anyone with functioning eyesight can see. It's obvious that Tang Yunren and I are together. Do you want something to drink? I handed Tang Yunren a cup of juice. Thank you. Tang Yunren politely expressed her thanks. Are you being so polite to me? This is what I should be doing. I said in a tone that implied it was obvious. You really don't see yourself as a person. Tang Yunren muttered quietly. I intentionally leaned closer to Tang Yunren's ear. I spoke in a voice only the two of us could hear. So do you see me as an outsider? You are an outsider, to begin with. It's not up to me to say from now on. My voice was a bit low. Tang Yunren had some difficulty hearing me clearly. I said to drink fruit juice. I deliberately changed the subject. Tang Yunren looked at me with a questioning gaze. Although I was just asked how. But she was sure that I wasn't talking about the latter part. Drink what kind of fruit juice? Everyone is an adult now, so we should drink beer. Wang Xiao wants to drink beer herself. But if the other girls don't drink, she would seem too bold all by herself. So she poured a cup for Tang Yunren too. She doesn't drink alcohol, so I'll drink for her. I reached out to pick up Tang Yunren's wine glass. Isn't that a bit much? We came here for a social event to escape the fate of being single. But you guys came over to show off your love, right? Wei Wei started teasing everyone. Wang Xiao led the way with this. The others started to chime in too. It's like showing off love just to get struck by lightning. Flaunting love today feels great for a moment. But tomorrow, breaking up will leave us crying. Tang Yunren isn't as thick-skinned as I am. Hearing them say this, she immediately took her wine glass back from my hands. I don't need you to help me drink. I can manage myself. After saying that, she directly raised her glass and took a big gulp. Seeing Tang Yunren drink so heartily, I thought to myself that she probably has some tolerance for alcohol. However, in just 5 minutes, Tang Yunren felt that the sounds around her, of laughter and chatter started becoming noisy. It turned into a buzzing din. Her vision also gradually became blurry. My head is spinning heavily. I noticed I was becoming increasingly out of sorts. Tang, who still retained most of her awareness, knew she was drunk. She would never tell anyone about this embarrassing matter. Tang Yunren muttered something and started to check her phone. After saying that, Tang Yunren stood up unsteadily. I could tell at a glance that Tang Yunren was not in good shape at that moment. Are you okay? I'm fine. Why wouldn't I be? Not good. Tang Yunren opened her eyes as wide as possible. intentionally pretending that nothing is wrong. V pretended to be nothing. I still want to go with you. But she outright rejected me. Because she didn't want me to see her in a drunken state. Really. She needed to hurry to the bathroom to splash some cold water on her face. Just as Tang Yunren was thinking this, suddenly her legs weakened and she fell to the ground. She was about to have an intimate encounter with the ground. Just then, a hand gently wrapped around her waist. It caught her steadily. Tang Yunren was startled. She was afraid it was a bad person with ulterior motives. With a fluttering heart, she looked up abruptly. But upon seeing that familiar face, she sighed with relief. Luckily, it was him. I'm fine, let me down, she said. Tang Yunren was in my arms. This position was a bit too ambiguous. Fortunately, she was inebriated. Even if her face was red, it wouldn't raise any suspicions. I looked at Tang Yunren, her face flushed. My Adam's apple moved instinctively. At that moment, I thought about kissing her directly. But I held back. But Tang Yunren wouldn't allow it. Because she was the girl I cherished the most. Making such an offensive advance on her. Isn't it her? Let me take you home first. I can go back by myself. Really? Then I won't worry about it. If someone bad notices you like this later, even if you scream your throat out in the middle of the night, you probably won't be heard. Listen to me. Tang Yunren couldn't help but feel scared. Then please take me back. You're being too polite. From now on, treat me like family. Just let me know if there's anything you need. Family. What do I mean by saying this? Tang Yunren is starting to understand me less and less. I don't know which words are true. Which words are false. It's even harder to discern the weight of my words. I called a taxi using a ride-hailing app. There's a breeze in the taxi. Originally, Tang Yunren was feeling drowsy from the alcohol. She was about to fall asleep. Now, in this dim environment, it made it even harder for her to stay awake. Looking at Tang Yunren's distressed expression, I reached out directly to cover Tang Yunren's head. Gently yet dominantly, I rested her head on my shoulder. Tang Yunren's pupils widened in an instant. She felt the area where her head was covered by my hand. A tingling sensation spread through that spot. Initially, Tang Yunren wanted to push me away. But instead, she leaned against my shoulder. For some reason, she felt at ease. She slowly closed her eyes, enjoying this moment of tranquility. She thought how wonderful it would be if this moment could last forever. However, happy times are always fleeting. The car quickly arrived at the destination. Just as Tang Yunren pushed open the car door, she saw me getting out as well. Make 2. From the entrance of the community to the bottom of your building. There's still a 5-minute walk. Since I've already brought you here, I might as well safely take you straight to your doorstep. There's really no need. We've already arrived at the neighborhood. Just as Tang Yunren wanted to say something more, the taxi had already driven away. I shrugged my shoulders. The car is already gone. Tang Yunren rented. In this situation, even if she refuses, it's already too late. She'll just have to go along with me. But just as Tang Yunren stepped out, she suddenly thought of something. She abruptly turned her head to look at me. You know, from the neighborhood to my home building. It's still a 5-minute walk. Earlier, she had simply lived in this neighborhood, without specifying which building it was. So how could I possibly know? Previously, she had suspected that I, like her, was also someone who had been reborn. Could it be that I was too? Seeing Tang Yunren look at me like this, I actually didn't think about rebirth like she did. I just thought she regarded me as a stalker. So I knew where her home was. I hurriedly explained that this was just a random guess. In fact, I know this reason is quite superficial. But I won't admit it. Tang Yunren couldn't do anything about me either. As a result, just as I expected. Although my words were full of holes. But Tang Yunren couldn't find any specific faults. After a while, the two arrived at the building. Just as Tang Yunren was about to go home after saying goodbye to me. One step. I walked straight up to Tang Yunren. Actually, I wanted to say something to you before I left. Tang Yunren blushed and started to stutter. Just say it. Why get so close to her? Why is this girl so nervous? I'm not going to confess my feelings to her. Good night. Upon hearing this, Tang Yunren was taken aback. Just this. Which one is it? I teased Tang Yunren on purpose. Tang Yunren panicked. I thought it was that one. You're lying. You definitely thought so. I didn't. I have no idea. Tang Yunren took a step back. Just a step before the meal. Until the very end. I cornered Tang Yunren against the wall. There was nowhere to retreat. I swallowed hard. I took a deep breath. I reached out and grabbed Tang Yunren's shoulder. I suddenly leaned in close. It won't be a return. Tang Yunren stared at me with wide eyes. Can I? I couldn't possibly want to kiss her. I wouldn't. I must be teasing her. That's what Tang Yunren thought. However, my face was getting closer to hers. Growing larger right in front of her. It's about to happen. I really want to kiss her. A loud shout suddenly rang out. Let go of my sister. This shout made me. Instantly dispelled all my impulses. This rough voice was recognizable without turning around. I knew it was Tang Yunren's older brother, Tang Fei. This isn't good for me. You better settle down. Tang Yunren's voice hadn't even faded away. Someone had already run ahead. Just as Tang Fei was about to continue chasing, he looked ahead. I had long since vanished from view. Has LM's physical fitness improved that much now? Tang Yunren ran over, breathless. Where is third brother? He ran away. Tang Fei said through clenched teeth. It's good that he ran away. He spoke as if they would meet again. Tang Yunren let out a sigh of relief. Xiaoyan, next time you come back this late, call me. I will come to pick you up. If I'm busy, I still have big brother and second brother. It's too dangerous for you to come back alone at night. Luckily, I was just thinking about coming out to check. Otherwise, you would have been bullied by that LM. Tang Yunren heard Tang Fei say this. Her thoughts returned to the scene downstairs just now. If Tang Fei hadn't come out to help, would I have kissed her then? Tang Fei noticed the dazed look on Tang Yunren's face. Thought she was overly startled and scared. It's fine now. If that guy dares to come after you again, I'll hit him until his grandma doesn't recognize him, Tang Fei said while clenching his fist. Meanwhile, Tang Yunren looked at that fist as big as a sand pot. It reminded her of the scene from her past life where she was pressed to the ground and rubbed. She couldn't help but feel worried. Third brother, did you see that person's face clearly just now? Tang Fei furrowed his brows. The light was a bit dim earlier, I didn't see clearly. Otherwise, I would go report it to the police immediately. It's good that you didn't see it clearly. Tang Yunren hadn't even had time to calm down this time, when she heard Tang Fei's voice sound again. But you don't have to worry too much. Although I didn't see his face clearly, I still have an impression of his general outline. If I run into him again, I'll definitely give him a taste of his own medicine. In a super strong way. Tang Yunren felt anxious like an ant on a hot pan. Returning to the room, Tang Yunren immediately called me. Are you back? I'm in a taxi. You don't need to worry about it. I run fast. Don't even mention you alone. Even if all three of your brothers came together, they couldn't catch me. Who's worried about you? I am. Tang Yunren casually grabbed a doll from the cabinet. I'll squish it flat in a bit. I just asked my third brother. He said he couldn't see your face clearly. Little girl, huh? Y-R-U-K. This awkward little look just happens to be my type. I like it. That's good. You have no idea. My third brother said that although he couldn't see your face clearly, he remembers the outline of your figure. He also said that if he sees you again next time, he will definitely recognize you. He must be bluffing. He can recognize me just by my body outline? Sorry, my language arts were taught by a PE teacher. Diet. Tang Yunren rolled her eyes speechlessly and continued speaking. I just rented. I was just thinking about it. Should we explain the situation to my third brother? Tell him this is just a misunderstanding. Your third brother is a reasonable person, isn't he? Everyone has their own way of getting into trouble. I almost got caught several times because of it. Tang Yunren was taken aback. Why'd I know her third brother so well? And why'd I know so much about her third brother? And why'd I know so much about her third brother? The moment lingered in the air. I recalled what I had just said. How do you know that? Tang Yunren bit her lower lip tightly. Her chest rose and fell nervously. I know. After all, I was the victim in my past life. Yunren, there are some things I don't want to lie to you about. I haven't figured out how to tell you yet. Because I'm afraid that if I say it, you'll get angry. You might ignore me again. Hearing me say that, Tang Yunren further suspected that I had been reborn. What I'm doing now is just for her sake. I don't want any compensation from anyone. What she wants is my sincere care for her, not something to compensate out of guilt. Tang Yunren is also thinking. Tang Yunren feels conflicted. It seems like something is not quite right. Even if I were reborn, I shouldn't feel guilty toward her. In my past life, they were only married in name. There was no real communication in life. Besides, she never told me. She had things she liked. How could I feel guilty toward her? But if it weren't for that, why would I say such things? And then there's her brother's situation. There are also so many things from the past. This doesn't add up. A single word can't explain it. It's like saying a passing remark. I'm feeling a bit anxious inside. I can't figure it out either. I'm just afraid Tang Yunren is overthinking. But you wouldn't be angry anymore. There's something. Tang Yunren is not angry, but her mind is very chaotic. She needs to calm down and sort things out. Just then, a knock on the door was heard. Xiao Yan, my headphones are broken. Can I borrow yours? Shush, don't make a sound yet. Tang Yunren said something to her phone after a pause. Tang Fei looked at Tang Yunren with a suspicious gaze. He couldn't tell if it was just his illusion. He felt that his younger sister's behavior was somewhat abnormal. As he was watching, a puzzled gaze fell on Tang Yunren's phone. It's so late. Who are you talking to on the phone? Tang Yunren's heart skipped a beat. I'm chatting with Xiao Xiao. Tang Yunren clutched her chest and adjusted her clothes. She felt nervous as she spoke. Oh, Tang Fei continued to look at the phone with a puzzled expression. Third brother, do you have anything else? Tang Yunren handed the headphones to Tang Fei. What's going on? Wrap up your chat and get some rest. After Tang Fei left, Tang Yunren patted her chest to calm herself down. Why so nervous? I asked out loud. It's easy to talk when you're not the one hurting. If it were you being seen by your family, let's see how nervous you'd be. If my family saw it, me talking to such a beautiful girl, chatting on the phone at night, they would just laugh uncontrollably. HMPH, I won't talk to you anymore. I need to sleep early. Resting well to rejuvenate my spirit. Let's watch a movie together tomorrow night. Tang Yunren was momentarily stunned. So much has happened today. And it just keeps on coming. It has kept her on edge until now. I actually forgot about this. I haven't finished my sentence yet. Just now, when I was downstairs at your place, I said goodnight to you. You haven't responded to me. Aren't you bored? Saying the same thing every day. Isn't it very boring? I still want to hear you say good morning every day. A beep sounded. Tang Yunren hung up the phone directly. At this moment, Tang Yunren cradled her face in her hands. Her cheeks were red and tight. Soon, it was 7 p.m. the next evening. At this time, I was riding my bicycle towards Tang Yunren's house. However, Tang Yunren sent a message advising me not to come. My parents are home, and my 3 older brothers are also at home. I'm already on my way. I'll be at your neighborhood in 2.5 minutes. Tang Yunren approached the door. She opened the door slightly and peered outside. Her third and second brothers were both in the room. Her mother was washing dishes in the kitchen. Her father and her elder brother were in the room. If she goes out like this, she will definitely be discovered by them. I'm already at the entrance of your neighborhood, you should come out. I sent the message. Tang Yunren was hesitant. Tang Yunren frowned. They were all in the living room. They will definitely ask. Then you can just make up any excuse. I don't want to lie to them. Then just tell them the truth. Anyway, I'll be waiting for you at the entrance of the community. Tang Yunren became increasingly anxious. Oh, there are so many mosquitoes in your community. Tang Yunren frowned. The mosquitoes are quite large. And they have flat bellies. And their legs are long. Tang Yunren's hands kept ringing. They're all mine. I told you not to come pick me up. After sending it, Tang Yunren hurriedly grabbed her bag and prepared to leave. Xiaoyan, where are you going? Tang Fei looked up at Tang Yunren. Tang Yunren tightly grasped the bag strap and said calmly, I have plans with a friend. She's been tired from studying lately. So we decided to watch a movie together to relax a bit. Have fun when you all play. Give your number to Shui. Okay. Don't go into dark alleys. And if you encounter any danger, just. Got it. I already know these safety tips. After going through a round of questioning, Tang Yunren was able to leave her home. As soon as she got downstairs, Tang Yunren immediately called Jin Xiaoqiao. Hey, is there something up? I want to ask you for a favor. If my family calls you later, just say that we are together. Jin Xiaoqiao sensed something different in the air. You're my best friend, of course I'll help you. But before that, you need to tell me what you think of him. Whether you want to be with him. It's just him. Tang Yunren looked at her toes and hesitantly said. Tang Yunren remained silent, which was considered an acceptance. Did he treat you well? Besides being a bit handsome, what else is good about him? I specifically pointed this out. He often plays video games. He even got caught playing during class. He plays even while sleeping. Moreover, he doesn't have any outstanding talents. His family background is also average. I don't care whether his family background is good or not. My family rules. I'm not snobbish. It's just that my mom said that to live well in the future, if there's some financial basis, life will be hard. I already know. Thank you, Xiaoqiao. I have my own thoughts. Alright. Just don't buy while sitting on the bike then. As soon as Xiaoqiao finished speaking, Tang Yunren saw me riding my bike over. Area 7. She's not afraid of her family seeing her come down. What? You don't need to worry, I'm fine. If I'm really discovered, I'll leave quickly. I won't get caught. Who's worried about you? You're really self-absorbed. Tang Yunren rolled her eyes at me in silence. I'm not self-absorbed, I'm genuinely beautiful. I'm handsome. Tang Yunren threw me a look. To let me experience it myself. Get on first. Tang Yunren nodded in agreement. She headed towards the back seat of the bike. The seat was a bit shaky. What about your bike's back seat? It's broken. I'm not lying. When I took apart the back seat last night, I used a bit too much strength. And then I broke the back seat. I lowered my head to look between my legs. I glanced at the gap where the seat cushion was. Tang Yunren looked a little puzzled. If I could just get up there, I would have to stick close to me. Stick close. Tang Yunren kept looking. Her gaze started to drift a bit. Then her face turned as red as a shrimp. Taking a taxi by herself. She refuses to get in no matter what. This is way too ambiguous. Let her sit over there. No. The more Tang Yunren thought about it, the more her face flushed and her heart raced. I rode a bike here. Why are you still taking a taxi? Hurry up and get in. I saw Tang Yunren's stubborn attitude. I felt a bit regretful inside. It seems I was too hasty. If I had known, I wouldn't have taken apart the seat. I will take a taxi. Tang Yunren still insisted. After saying that, she directly turned and walked back towards the community gate. Watching Tang Yunren's departing figure, a sudden idea struck me. I turned around, looked at the apartment building, and shouted, Hurry up and get in the car, your third brother is coming out. Hearing this, Tang Yunren moved quickly. She got her legs moving. She climbed up. I wrapped my arms around Tang Yunren and pedaled hard. We exited the neighborhood at lightning speed. Tang Yunren was still a bit startled. She turned back to look at the shrinking neighborhood. Just now, third brother must have seen us, right? He probably didn't ride as fast as I did. You must not be talking about me, right? Tang Yunren slowed down. What do you mean? I just thought that person looked like your third brother. You're getting worse and worse now. Tang Yunren playfully scolded. It takes 30 minutes to ride from the neighborhood to the cinema. Although the journey was long, we had a delightful conversation. After getting off the car, I took Tang Yunren's hand, walking towards the cinema. During this time, Tang Yunren kept staring at my hand. Wait for me. I'm going to buy some popcorn and cola. Tang Yunren lowered her head and didn't dare to look at me. Because her face is really hot right now. Her neck and ears are also frequently exposed. How about an ice cream to cool off? I smiled at Tang Yunren and said, Is it not welcome? Tang Yunren pouted angrily and pulled her hand back because I teased her. This seems to be incomplete or may have a typo. Context is needed. Watching Tang Yunren run away. I think I should take it a bit easier. Don't make Tang Yunren run away by teasing her. That would be counterproductive. After running to the bathroom in one breath, Tang Yunren looked at herself in the mirror. Felt like she was drunk. Why do I keep teasing her? Do I really enjoy seeing her blush that much? The delay has been shortened by several minutes. Tang Yunren finally calmed her emotions. The worker was willing to come out. I saw him waiting at the door with a cone of ice cream. I won't eat, you go ahead. Tang Yunren thought I didn't like to eat. However, after she had eaten it twice, she noticed I had been staring at the ice cream in her hand. Do you want to eat? I originally didn't want to eat. Seeing you eat made me want some. Buy one. The movie is about to start, just hold on. While I was saying this, I kept staring at the ice cream in Tang Yunran's hand. Tang Yunran looked a bit confused. If you don't mind, why don't you take a bite? Just as Tang Yunran finished talking, my hand immediately reached over. He pulled her hand over, looking at her while holding her hand. I lowered my head and took a bite of the ice cream. Tang Yunran's pupils dilated in an instant. Her heart raced wildly. Tang Yunran felt that her true self was about to emerge. Moreover, the spot I just bit was where she had just eaten. Just when Tang Yunran was stunned and couldn't react, the melting ice cream flowed onto her fingers. What happened next made Tang Yunran feel like she evaporated on the spot. I took the opportunity to suck on her finger. Looking at Tang Yunran again, she looked as if she was being steamed in a steamer. She was so red, it seemed like she could smoke. People around us were entering the screening room. I checked the time, it was about to start. The movie is about to start, let's go in. Tang Yunran numbly replied twice. Then, she followed me holding the ice cream. She looked at me with a dazed expression. Half an hour later, the movie finally reached its peak. The male and female leads also began to shed their previous shyness. Because it's set on a college campus, the two often went to deserted spots, or flirted sweetly in the pavilion. This made Tang Yunran's face turn red, especially when the lead couple kissed. Her eyes would widen in surprise. You really enjoy watching this kind of thing. I had already seen this movie before coming here, so I wasn't interested in the film. I just kept my eyes on Tang Yunran. I took in all of Tang Yunran's expressions. I noticed that the more exciting the scene was, the more engrossed Tang Yunran became. Who knows who likes what? I don't like watching this kind of drama at all. Then we are. Tang Yunran looked at me with resentful eyes. I just think the storyline is good. It's full of twists and turns that are gripping. Oh, I think so too. I deliberately elongated my tone and said, how could Tang Yunran not realize I was teasing her? Just when she was about to retort me a few times, the young couple sitting in front suddenly started making out. She had only seen such things through a screen before. In reality, she had seen couples kissing by the roadside, but it was always from a distance, and based on the principle of, don't look at what shouldn't be seen. Every time she saw such a scene, she would look away. But now, the two people in front of her, made her face turn bright red from embarrassment. At that moment, my hand suddenly reached out, resting on her forehead. It was so hot, so warm. You must be sick. Tang Yunran wasn't foolish. How could she not realize I was teasing her? She raised her hand to push mine away, and stood up. But in her haste, she accidentally stepped on her right foot with her left foot, and ended up crashing straight into me. My face turned bright red from the pain. She really hit me hard. Perfectly aimed. I didn't mean to. Tang Yunran started to worry. How could such a thing happen? This is a big deal. I'm upstanding and innocent. If you mess this up, then you'll be a sinner for all time. Tang Yunran was both anxious and visibly distressed. What are you doing still teasing her? Tang Yunran sat back down in her seat. Her heart was in turmoil. Despite her worries, she silently glanced at me. She noticed I was adjusting my pants. Seeing this, Tang Yunran immediately fled in panic. After watching the movie, I rode my bike and took Tang Yunran back to the entrance of the community. You should go. It wouldn't be good if my family saw you. Okay, I'll watch you go inside. Tang Yunran nodded beautifully. Tang Yunran nodded and walked into the community. Looking back, I haven't left yet. Holding onto the bike, I stood and watched her. She has already gone inside. She has walked into the building. Tang Yunran took a few steps back and looked back. I realized I was still watching her leave. You should go back. Tang Yunran herself. Tang Yunran shouted at me. Okay, I nodded and then remained standing in place, watching her. Tang Yunran felt an indescribable emotion in her heart. Along with the touch of emotion came a full sense of happiness. Could she really have such happiness? It couldn't be just an illusion, could it? Just when Tang Yunran was feeling anxious in her heart, I shouted out to her loudly. Yunran, go to bed early. Good night. The voice rang out right by her ear. It felt so real. It made her believe this was not something that happened in reality. Tang Yunran covered her heart in response. She walked backward. Both of us gazed at each other, until it was almost out of sight. Only then did Tang Yunran plan to withdraw her gaze. Xiaoyan, why are you walking backward? Bone. Tang Yunran was so shocked that she gasped. Falling. Then I heard Tang Fei's puzzled voice ringing in my ears. That person looked somewhat familiar. Upon hearing this, Tang Yunran felt a pang in her heart. Won't return. Could it be that her third brother is here? Really very familiar. Tang Fei said again. Yunran, do you think he looks like my high school classmate? He's the one who was my deskmate. Tang Yunran was taken aback for a moment before turning to look at Tang Fei. He does look a bit different. Tang Fei muttered to himself. Tang Yunran let out a sigh. It was Zhang Che's fault for making her anxious. Zhang Che wasn't wrong. What her third brother said about recognizing someone by their silhouette really was just him trying to fool her. Around 11 p.m., I finished my shower and came out of the bathroom. I felt quite uneasy. I felt like I had missed something. So even when going to the bathroom, I would still take my phone with me. Getting started. Hey, Yunran sent me a message. It's still the same matter. Interface. Chat interface. What Tang Yunran sent was a voice message. She actually took the initiative to send him a voice message. I'm really curious about what Tang Yunran sent him. I clicked to open it and listened closely. Good night. After hearing it, my eyes went wide open in disbelief. I had a look of utter disbelief on my face. I took a breath to calm down. I edited a message and sent it to Tang Yunran. You said good night to me. When I hadn't brought it up myself. She actually took the initiative to talk to me. Tang Yunran sent the message 8 minutes and 20 seconds ago. She had been holding back her excited emotions, waiting for my reply. But finally, after waiting for the message, she became even more nervous. Tang Yunren had already planned what to say. It was when you said good night to me at the community entrance just now. I was just being polite. So I felt the need to reply to you. Yes, that's how it is. She was just being polite. All men's gossip. I think if a woman speaks up, it's like a filling. Especially if she's beautiful. Anyway, if Tang Yunren deceives me, I willingly accept it. It's all about the interactions and connections. You're still polite. Then you need to send good morning messages too. Why? Because I send them to you every morning. Tang Yunren reacted, realizing it later. She got caught in my trap herself. But those were her own words. What can she do? Go to bed early. Girls should sleep early and rise early. I looked at the time. It was almost 11. With finals approaching at Zhongshan University, there's still some pressure. It's a pity that my major is different from hers. The elective courses are not the same either. Otherwise, I could tell her what topics to study. What do you mean? Are you saying I don't look good right now? Tang Yunren huffed in frustration. I immediately replied. No, you are very beautiful. But didn't you just say that going to bed early and waking up early makes you even more beautiful? Then go to bed a little later. Tang Yunren's little journey. After carefully contemplating my words, her face instantly blossomed with a smile. Staying up all night. Is it that she looks so good in my eyes? Hee hee hee. Tang Yunren laughed cheerfully. The more she laughed, the louder her voice became. Tang Fei, who lives next door, came over to knock on the door. Xiao Yan. What are you silly laughing at? I was scrolling through short videos and saw something funny. Go to bed early. You have to get up early tomorrow. Alright, got it. Tang Yunren pouted and looked at my profile picture. She said to herself. It's all your fault for making me lie again. She paused, holding my photo on her phone, and said. Zhang She, I've decided this is you. I hope this time you won't let me down, okay? At that moment, she sneezed loudly. A single sneeze means. 2 sneezes mean. It must be my little girl herself. Immediately, I smiled and finished turning off the lights. I took out paper and pen and started writing a love letter.